This meeting will come to order. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 10th, 2015 meeting of the Manchester Town Council. Unfortunately, Mayor Warner and Councilperson Smith are not able to attend this evening, but we do have enough members here to have a quorum and be able to conduct business. First order of business would be, actually, it's an honor to call everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance for the first time in a long time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, so now the next order of business will be the approval of the February 10th, 2015 minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the February 10th, 2015 minutes.
I second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Next order is receipt of the January 15th Treasurer's Report and February 2015 check register.
Will we do them together?
I guess, could we do them together, or do they need to be separate?
Do them together.
I make a motion we approve the January 2015 Treasurer's Report and the February 2015 check register.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have the pleasure of having Commissioner Steve Wentz with us this evening. Steve, please.
The floor is mine.
It is yours.
Next hour.
You'll be here alone.
Okay, that's it.
Come on, Vince. First of all, good evening. I've said back whenever that I would be making a stop at the towns that are in my district on a quarterly basis or so, and so I'm here tonight to go over a few things that we have been trying to accomplish at the county level, and certainly to entertain any questions that you all may have as we are moving through. One of the things I have to remember is it seems like we've been in office for 3 years. It's only been 3 months. So there's a lot going on, and as you all know, the budget season's coming up. So there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of things that we need to address. And I again want to reiterate that anything that we can do from your level to help you at our level, we would welcome the opportunity to be able to do that when we march through this budget cycle. So there's a open door policy there, and I want to make sure that that's known. A couple things that I want to touch on tonight from the county level to make you all aware of what's going on. Certainly, as everyone knows, the session is down in Annapolis. I was having a conversation with Mike here in the audience this evening about that. There were headlines in the Carroll County Times this past weekend about how the county commissioners are against all tax savings or tax reductions that the governor is proposing. If you just read the headline and didn't get any further, I ask you to please read the article. The headline did no justice to that, to what we were trying to say there. One of the things that we are very concerned about from a county standpoint is the fact that there are a lot of these tax reductions that are being placed on us at one time. And from the county down to the municipalities, as you all can imagine, it would be somewhat of an issue for us for all of that revenue that we would be losing because of those. Now, we are in no way against all of the tax reductions. That's totally false. So I encourage you to make sure that you read the article. One of the things that we have been very adamant about is the fact that, yes, we certainly do want to see tax savings for everyone here, but there isn't a reasonable way to do it, and we feel that incrementally it would be an advantage for all of us. Maybe one here, maybe one in about another year, or what have you, however they want to do it. We're against the fact that they would all come down at the same time. So I want to assure the citizens that we're not going to be raising the tax flag in Carroll County. That's certainly not something that we want to do. So another thing that's going on is the stormwater management and, of course, the rain tax that everybody's heard about. Now, that was voted down in committee. There are still things that are going to be happening down there to hopefully bring that to fruition. That's Senate Bill 863, and we sent several letters today in reference to the fact that we are for the eliminating or repealing the rain tax. And the problem with some of the things that are happening is there have been some things attached to that bill that are going to increase the amount of reporting that we have to do as a county, and then of course that filters down to the municipalities. So we're a little bit concerned about all the reporting. There seems to be a duplication as far as MDE goes. So we're trying to get that tweaked, and we're very hopeful that we will. One of the things that we're very proud of in Carroll County, and of course it happened before I came into office, was the fact that we were able to repeal that from the county level because of all the things that we had done locally with our stormwater management. So we're hoping that they see what we have done and use that example to get that repealed. So we're working on that very closely. We have folks down there. Touch on storm management real quick. I know you folks have probably taken a hit just like all the rest of us. The county was low on salt, and we were actually to the point over the weekend where we were doing a 50-50 mix of stone chips and salt because of the fact that we were so low. And good news is that it's raining and not snowing tonight.
That is very good news.
So we're very happy about that, although I thought for a minute I'd have to get into a boat to get over here, but that's, we can deal with that. Our salt supply has increased over the last 2 days, so in case it does happen, we have plenty, and if the towns run into an issue, we certainly would be able to work with all of you in reference to that. So want you to make sure that you know,
Yes.
keep that in the back of your mind.
We
So-
will. We know all, yes.
Okay.
We're down that road also.
Okay. It seems like they've freed up some of that. I understood that there was a huge pile of salt down on the docks, and they weren't releasing it because the state was low.
That's correct. There were
So-
some other issues along
Yeah,
the
and
way
right.
with that, right?
But the main message here is it's starting to get to the local level now. So
Yes.
we got 2 or 3 shipments in the past 24, 48 hours.
Good.
So we're in pretty good shape there.
Good.
Carroll Transit System, real quick. I don't know if any of you have heard any of the issues that are going on with that, but there are certainly some issues. Anytime there's a transition, there are going to be issues, and we have certainly been experiencing some of those. So the nonprofit CATS, as you well know, handled our transportation issues in the county, and now it is the Carroll Transit System supplied by Butler. So we're working through those issues. There were some phone issues. There were some computer issues. There were vehicle issues, and the list goes on and on and on. We are quickly working through all of those, and the amount of complaints go down every day. So to all of the citizens and to the thousands that are watching tonight, I want to reiterate that we are on top of it, and we're doing everything to make sure that this transition takes place, and we take care of the citizens that need rides to go wherever. So we're on top of that, and we're working on it. Back to storm, and I forgot one thing, potholes. I'm sure, Steve, that you're...
That's in my report.
That's on your report, okay. It's certainly on our radar, too, and with the extreme weather that we've been having, we've got an issue in a lot of places. In this particular area, Wine Road seems to be a problem. I've gotten 2 or 3 calls about Wine Road in the past 2, 3, 4 days. So I want everyone to know that we're working on that. There's not a whole lot we can do right now until this weather clears, and then we're going to go out and start to attack those. So even our paved roads are taking a beating, as you know. I came across several tonight that it's almost like you're on a roller coaster ride when you're getting over here. So it's taking a toll on a lot of things. We're on top of that, and we're going to get to that as soon as we can. The last time I was here, and Chief Hess isn't here tonight, but we were talking about a drug force initiative that we are working on. That's coming. We're still working on that. I think, as most of you saw, Governor Hogan has something in place where he has put the Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford in charge of a drug force initiative, I think he calls it. We've actually reached out to them. We're going to be putting something in place. We've been working with Sheriff DeWeese and our state's attorney, Brian DeLeonardo, That's getting real close to fruition, and we'll have something for you very soon that'll be put in place from a county level that we're going to be very proud of. And I think that's it. A little bit of a commercial here. I have a community meeting at Silver Oak Academy. If anyone is not familiar, and you may not be because you're in this area, Silver Oak Academy is a school for troubled youth in the Kemar area. We're having a community meeting on March the 31st at 6:30 p.m., which is a Tuesday night, in which Sergeant Lacey from the Maryland State Police and Sheriff Jim DeWeese will be in attendance. We're going to talk about the security issues up there, and then give folks a chance to learn about Silver Oak Academy. They've got a lot of things that they do up there that are fantastic, and they're a great community outreach program for a lot of things here in Carroll. So if you're so inclined to be there, I promise it'll be sunny and 60 degrees. Come up and see us in Kemar on Tuesday the 30th. Did I just promise that?
That'll work.
Yeah, okay. Well, Tuesday the 31st. So I think that's all I have. Questions, comments, concerns, I'm going to be here. But if you have anything, yell at me or what have you, and I'll try to address them.
Commissioner, one thing, you've been on a job now 3-4 months. As a municipality and as staff level, I can't say enough about your county staff. Your county staff, no matter whether, it's in water resources, stormwater management, roads, they are so receptive to questions that towns have, and they do so much. And I think you probably found that out over the last several months being in your position. So.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic
You
staff,
do.
Steve.
You do.
We really do. And one of the problems that we had identified previous was the morale problem with county staff. And it's no mystery. I'm not talking out of turn here. It was an issue over there.
Correct.
I would like to say that we are proud of the fact that we have pretty much completely turned that around to where everyone seems to be working in harmony. We're working together. I know we had an issue over here on Route 30 that we brought some folks in.
Yes.
That worked great.
Yes.
We've got an issue on Bogman Mill Road in Lineborough that I'm actually going to take several of the Public Works guys out there on Friday morning. We're doing things like that as far as outreach to our citizens, to actually go out and look at their issue.
Sure.
And come up with something that will either mitigate it or eliminate it or what have you.
Correct.
So our staff has been incredible. Everyone seems to be energized with the new folks that are in place. We are in the process, too, I'm glad you brought that up. We are doing some restructuring there, and if anyone has been watching us, today we addressed the Public Works because we've identified that they're too large. So we're actually breaking Public Works down.
Into
We're going to add a
different
deputy,
divisions. Okay.
and it's going to make things a lot better, I think, for our municipalities as they try to work
Sure.
their way through the spider web, if you will, of getting to who they need to get to. So
That's good. Very
we're
good.
working on that too. Baby steps, a little bit at a time, as I reiterated.
Yeah.
It's only been 3 months and a few
Sure.
days, so we're doing
Very good.
We're doing as much as we can. But I certainly will convey that. I've heard it
Yes.
from the other villages in my district and the other town. So I will convey that to all of them, and we certainly do look forward to a great
Excellent.
working relationship with all of our villages and towns.
Fantastic.
It's worked out well, so thank you for that.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Commissioner Wayne, if I
Sure.
could just add one comment. You had mentioned about the Carroll Transit System. So I just wanted to just offer my support for any possible expansions of transit shuttle routes and so forth in the Manchester-Hampstead area.
Okay.
That's been kind of discussed for quite a while now. A couple of years it was explored, I guess, and I think maybe it'll come to some sort of a fruition in terms of an actual plan that may be presented.
Okay.
So I just, again, want to offer my support of that expansion. There's a lot of folks who can travel into Westminster, where the majority of commerce and different business things happen, healthcare and so forth, but then they can't get back home. So I
Okay.
can say a lot about that, but just short and sweet, that I appreciate your support on
I'll
that.
certainly take that under advisement. We are looking, once Butler gets most of the kinks worked out, if you will, we're going to look at doing some enhancements to what we provide.
Right.
We're even looking down the road at possibly putting a transportation hub location, if you will, where it would be similar to a bus stop in layman's terms, at a strategic location where we get a lot of traffic from folks coming and going. So we're looking at a lot of things there, and we think the potential is there. So I will certainly take that under advisement. We'll see what we can do there. So
Thank you.
yep. We good?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I'll be here in case something comes up. So
Yeah, I think I speak of everyone here when I say we can't thank you enough for all of your efforts and all the good things to come, so I know it's pretty exciting.
Thank you very much. Right back at you. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor's report. First and foremost, I really want to commend our Department of Public Works for all their hard work and all the effort they've been putting into this weather. I think it's real easy to lose sight of everything they do. Maintenance of our parks, roads, facilities, somehow it just doesn't magically happen. It's all their hard work that goes into that. It's our town staff here, and they just do a phenomenal job. I'll tell two really quick stories. I guess it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a budget meeting, and I got home at around 9 or 9:30, and I noticed that there was a crew at the bottom of my court working on some pipes, and I'd understood that they had been there all day. They got there sometime very early in the day. And that was around 9 or 9:30, and I think it was single digits that evening. So I went inside, Michelle and I came back from the meeting, looked at about 11 o'clock, and they were still there. So we walked down to talk to them just to see how they were doing, if they needed anything, and they still said they had an hour and a half to go. And they weren't blinking an eye, they weren't angry, they weren't frustrated, they were just doing what they had to do. And it's things like that they do. Steve could probably tell 100 more stories of the things they do. The other, and this is something I can say about Manchester and Carroll County, I work on the other side of Columbia, so I have the opportunity to go through several counties once I leave home. Some of the counties are probably some of the wealthiest in the nation. And what I can say is when weather is bad here, it just gets progressively worse on the roads. That's how outstanding that Manchester and Carroll County does on their roads compared to some of our neighboring counties. So again, my hat goes off to our public works and county's public works as well. Some things I'll read here, and forgive me for reading, I don't always remember my lines. Offices will be closed on Friday, April 3rd for Good Friday. Bulk trash pickup will be on Wednesday, April 15th. Call Hughes at 410-374-6467 to be placed on the list. Brush pickup will be on Tuesday, April 21st. As a reminder, shrubbery cuttings and tree trimmings cannot exceed 4 inches in diameter. Shrubbery cuttings and tree trimmings shall not exceed 8 feet in length. All shrubbery cuttings and tree trimming piles shall not exceed 4 feet in height, 4 feet in width, or 8 feet in length. Place cut end of brush and tree trimmings toward the curb. Each property located in the town of Manchester shall be entitled to only 1 brush pile per pickup per property. Water bills will be mailed out on April 1st and will be due on April 30th. Hughes Trash would like to remind all residents to have their trash and recycling out early on Wednesdays. Also, please put trash containers on one side of your driveway and recycling on the other if possible. At least keep them separated so that they can tell the difference. Election information. The town of Manchester will hold an election on Tuesday, May 19th, 2015. The mayor and 2 council members will be elected. The term of their office is 4 years. And some details about the election. If you are a registered voter in the county and a resident within incorporated town limits, you are eligible to vote in town election. You may obtain universal voting applications allowing you to vote in all elections at the town office or at the Carroll County Board of Elections at 300 South Center Street. Deadline for registration through Carroll County is on or before 4 p.m. April 20th. If you have recently completed a change of address form at the Motor Vehicle Administration, you may want to contact the Carroll County Board of Elections at 410-386-2080 to ensure the information is updated. A candidate for office must file a nomination packet with the Manchester Board of Supervisors of Elections on or before April 6, 2015. Packets are available at Town Hall here at 3208 York Street. Nomination packets will also be accepted at a special meeting in Town Hall on April 6, 2015 from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And then more details about qualifications can be picked up as far as each position, the mayor and the council members, and when you come in. So again, nominations Monday, April 6th, 7:30 to 8 p.m. Election Tuesday, May 19th, 7 o'clock to 8 p.m. Mayor Warner just asked me to pass along, too, his appreciation and thanks to the staff for all their hard work, and then a reminder about the Charlotte Collect Scholarship. I could have never remembered all that. I don't speak as well as Commissioner Wance. Okay, Town Administrator report.
Okay, good evening, Council. We'll go ahead and start with the February 2015 Administrative Report. Under pending items, there's been no change in the SHA projects. I did put down one item of interest, House Bill 920, which will be heard on March the 12th, and which would require SHA to pay to a publicly owned utility the cost of relocating water and sewer lines due to a specified highway projects which are financed in whole or part by federal funds. If some of you remember back, that was one of the key issues in regards to the widening of the Route 27 and Route 30 intersection and the cost and burden that would be placed on the town as far as relocating those water and sewer lines. So I'll keep you abreast on that. The Sheets project, I sent you folks an update in regards to that project on February the 27th. And our new town hall police station, it appears that the bidding project will occur sometime in April. We're still on target for that. Under code enforcement, I've supplied you with a code enforcement status report, and I want to thank Michelle Wilder for that. You'll get that on a monthly basis. There's been no changes to our grants. Everything stayed the same. Under miscellaneous items, I attended the monthly WRCC meeting on February 25th, and we had a very good presentation by the Chesapeake Bay Trust on grant opportunities, and I passed this information on to the Nature Foundation. There may be some grants there that they can reach out and try to acquire. Chief Hess, Kelly, and I met with a rep from Carroll Occupational Health on February the 24th, and that was in regards to revising our drug and alcohol policy, as well as instituting a respirator policy for our water and wastewater operators. Open meetings training, which was brought up, John, you might want to listen to this. Over the last month, Mayor Warner, Councilman Wilder, Kelly Baldwin, our Director of Finance, Michelle Wilder, our Planning and Zoning Administrator, and I have completed the open meetings training, and those names have been submitted to the Attorney General's office for recordation. On February the 10th, I had the honor of attending the initial kickoff meeting of the Manchester Community Outreach Group, and the attendees included local pastors, school principals, NESAP, and TRIA Friends. The group's mission is to assist the needy families in the area. The town of Manchester will be teaming up with the Manchester Fire Department and Manchester Police Department to collect toiletries such as toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorants, etc. So I'll have more on that over the next month or two. Okay, moving right along. Our February Public Works report. Under water, you have in front of you the water and wastewater report for February 2015. One thing to look at, the average temperature for February when this is recorded at 8 o'clock in the morning is 17 degrees. That was the average temp for February at the wastewater treatment plant. I won't go into detail, but of course we had numerous cold weather emergencies, frozen pipes, lines, you name it, we had it. And as Councilman Wilder said, I want to commend all of our staff on an outstanding job. I'm talking about our public works staff, our maintenance staff, our office staff, our police department. Our auxiliary police department assisted our public works folks one night with traffic control. So the whole team worked very well together, and I was very pleased with them. Hopefully we're making the turn, I hope. So we'll see how things go over the next several weeks. Under wastewater, we did have a repair of a 6-inch force main at the Manchester Farms pump station on February 17th. Of course, our switch over to spray irrigation is not taking place due to the weather. Our operators anticipate the switch over may take place next week. One action item that we have for tonight is the bids on the gravity sewer lining. That'll be coming up a little later. Under stormwater, I met with county staff on February the 25th, and this is in regards to the upgrade of the stormwater management facility at State Route 30 and Michelle Road. This would be our second project. Our first project I'll talk a little bit about, and that's the skate park stormwater management facility. and it appears that everything is currently on track. SHA has agreed that 14,000 cubic yards of material that's going to be removed can be disposed of along the State Route 27 widening project. They do have almost another 14,000 cubic yards of material to get rid of, and we will dispose of that on town property off of Water Street. And that's our goal, is to fill that area in to create possibly a practice field up there that would interconnect both fields. The practice field at a later date, which would interconnect with the current football, baseball field that we use. Under maintenance, roads, and parks, we experienced 7 snow, sleet, ice events in February. The second action item that we'll talk about tonight is the wash bay bids. And our spring street resurfacing requests for bids, they've been put on hold until, as Commissioner Wance talked about, until we can get a handle on the amount of work needed on our streets from this winter. So that's probably going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get a better handle on what we have out there. There's a lot of damage out there, and the frost isn't out of the ground yet. So we have to take a hard look and see what we have. Also, Commissioner Wance talked about salt supply. We're kind of the low on the feeder stream as far as salt. We have numerous suppliers that we can get it from. Some of those suppliers have ran out. Our main supplier, Morton Salt, who I know the county goes with because we're under the state bid. I'm glad to hear that they're releasing some of those supplies now, and hopefully, I believe we have at least 4 loads on order, and 3 from another supplier. So hopefully that'll loosen up, as Commissioner Wance said, over the next couple days. We are going to plan an appreciation luncheon sometime in late March or early April for our staff for the fine job that they did over the last winter. But it's been tough. Our guys are wearing out, so hopefully we're making the turn, I hope so. That's it. Any questions for me?
No.
Very good.
Again, our Public Works is amazing, and I have to commend equally our town staff, our administrative staff as well.
I think the thing that got us was the cold. That was nasty. Cold got us. That hurt. Yeah. I mean, we had that Councilman Wilder, which you alluded to, that particular case. We had service lines that froze. They were actually about 22 to 24 inches deep, and they actually froze. We had to expose them and thaw them out. Yeah.
I know when I got there, there were several holes 4 some feet deep, with guys down inside trying to work.
Right.
I mean, again, it was single digits.
Tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, our police report. Chief Hess is not available this evening.
I have it, yes. Okay. I'll go ahead and give that. Yes, Chief Hess had a previous engagement tonight. He apologized for not being with us. Good evening, council members. The Manchester Police Department responded to 58 calls for service in the month of February 2015. Investigations resulted in 7 persons being criminally charged. We had 0 Part 1 crime to report. Only 1 minor assault was recorded. And he has the recap as follows: 1 CDS, which happened to be on school property; 1 juvenile arrest, which was an assault; 1 search warrant and arrest, which is a convicted felon in possession of unregistered guns; and 4 traffic. He also has down that they did traffic hotspots on Charmill, Susan Ann, Southwestern, and Crossroads Overlook. These were the main enforcement areas. They did 47 traffic enforcement stops, 29 state citations, and 18 warnings. Under his note, Sheriff DeWeese and the municipal chief want our officers prepared to properly handle drug and overdose cases. Chief Hess is coordinating with the DEA to head the training, focusing on drug investigation and overdoses. The training will focus on investigation techniques, recording intel, and overdose scene handling and investigation from patrol to detective level. Classes will begin in the spring and will be held at the DEA office in Baltimore. He also has 2 items of importance which Councilperson Howe will probably announce this. March 28th is the Easter egg hunt at Charlotte's Quest Nature Center, and April 25th is the Manchester Baseball Opening Day Ceremony and Parade, beginning and ending at Manchester Fire Department Activities Building, and the start time for that is 8 a.m. Respectfully submitted, Chief of Police John F. Hess, Jr.
Very good, thank you, Steve. Okay, next item, request for a permit to spray chemicals on rented property located within Manchester. Steve, is there something specifically we want to?
No, actually, Mr. Cartwrighter does this every year as per the code. He'll be spraying for insects and weed control on property. It'll be the Lamont property and the Harold property. And as per code, he requests this to be done each year. He is a licensed herbicide sprayer and does a very good job.
Do we need to do anything, take any action here?
Usually, I believe it's just a motion to allow him to do this each year, yes, as per code.
I'll make a motion that we approve Mr. Cartwrighter's request to spray for insects and weeds from April 1 to September 30th.
I second the motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, great. All right, next was discussion of the bids for gravity sewer lining project.
Correct. As you recall, this is actually the second phase of our attempt to lower our inflow and infiltration coming into the treatment plant. The first phase, we had the area videoed, and we found some areas in town that we had cracked pipes, we had infiltration coming in. And for the public and for everybody's information, we feel that with the repair, with the lining of these gravity sewer lines, we can save 80,000 gallons per day. Now what that relates to is, it relates to a savings in electrical cost, chemical cost, but more importantly, not related to a cost, it helps us as far as our biological system in our wastewater treatment plant. When you're bringing in, 80,000 gallons of surface water, it's diluting the biology down in the treatment plant itself. So if we can keep that water out, it helps us all the way around. So we did a job back probably 15 years ago, and we knew we had a problem because we could see those numbers start to increase. So I bid this job out several months ago, and we only received one bid, and I didn't want to release it just having one bid. We rebid the project, and you can see here that we received 3 bids back, one from Amliner East at $125,500, Humphrey and Son LLC at $154,700, and Lane Inliner for $213,000. Staff recommends to go with Amliner. I did some follow-up. Amliner does a lot of work in Ocean City. I talked to the Director of Public Works in Ocean City. They're very happy with their work. They leave the area nice and clean, and they're pretty pleased. So it's staff recommendation to go with Amliner East. Also, as it states in the memo, the monies would come from our sewer area service account, and of course we'd have to amend the current FY15 sewer budget to do this.
Steve, I'm not concerned that they're the highest bid. I prefer best quality or best value over lowest price. Is there anything that stands out as to why their price might be a little higher than others?
Not really. Our people that met with them felt very comfortable with them when they met them out in the field. They seemed very knowledgeable of the work, and they were pretty pleased with the folks that came out and actually bid the job. And like I say, I received very high praises from Ocean City on their work.
Good.
Steve, the first bid, who was that? When you had the loan bid?
That was Amliner East.
That was Amliner.
That was the loan bid, yes.
Anybody, any more discussion? Anybody want to make a motion?
I would like to know how long this project would take, how many, what's the extent of it, just out of curiosity.
Off the top of my head, some of the areas that they have to get into, they couldn't get into until the ground dries out, of course. Length of time, I would estimate the length of time for this project would probably be 15 to 20 working days. Once they get on the site, they can roll pretty quick. They can insert, the time-consuming issue is the bypass pumping from one manhole to the other. Get your pump set up, bypass the flow, go ahead and put your liner in, steam it, let it expand, let it cure, and then it's turned back in.
Did you get the impression that Land and Liner did not want to do it? I mean, their bid is almost 100,000 more.
No, yeah, they were on site for probably almost a half a day looking at the project. No, not really.
You know what I'm getting at. There's such a discrepancy. My concern is if it's that big of a project that one company says, hey, we're going to have to charge you $213. Just want to make sure that, and I know you got a good recommendation from Ocean City. That's just my concern.
Sure, I can understand that.
So we do have some past performance information on Lane and Liner. Anything on M-Liner or Humphrey as far as past performance?
I've never done any work with Humphrey. The other company that we worked with before that had a chance to bid on it, in Citriform, they didn't want to bid on it. I don't know if the job wasn't that big enough for them, but they just didn't want to bid. So we solicited them and no response.
So I mean, like Amliner, they'll guarantee or warranty their work, and
Yes.
we don't, I mean, the concerns that are kind of being raised concerning the discrepancy in the prices,
Correct.
they'll, all of them have the same kind of
Guarantee?
Guarantee
Yeah, the
to
guarantee
their
is
work.
for, yeah.
So.
And again, they camera the line initially, then once the liner's put in, then they'll camera it again. Those videos belong to us, so we can see what their performance is, make sure that the liner's put in correctly.
Right.
And then we have a lot of stipulations within the contract, any wrinkles in the line or anything like that, different temperatures that they have to meet the spec. So it's pretty tight spec that we went by, that we gave them to go by.
No, that's actually Lane.
Did any of the organizations submit references or past performance records as
Yes.
part of their bid?
Yep,
Anything stand out?
not really.
But Amliner's done a lot of work for Ocean City.
Yes.
I heard you right, okay.
Yep.
Oh, I will make a motion that we accept the bid from Amliner East Incorporated for $125,500.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Lane and Liner, bid has been accepted. Next, discussion of bids for installation of the wash bay at the maintenance shop.
Okay, this project stems from, of course, stormwater management issues, as far as installing a wash bay to clean up all of our town vehicles. This is the first phase of a two-phase project. The first phase is to convert one of our existing Hanover storage buildings, half of it into a wash bay. The second phase would include the installation of a new building in front of that building, and then the third phase would be installing a lift in that building, which you'll see in fiscal year 16 budget. We solicited bids for the wash bay, and this is for the division of the existing building, which would include the pipe work, the grate system, the walls, the insulation, everything included in there, with the exception of some electrical work, which we can do internally, and tying in the water and wastewater lines, which we can do that internally. So you can see there we received 4 bids. The lowest bid for construction of the wash bay was from Millennium Contracting for $27,459. To give you some background, Millennium has done work for us in the past. I can't remember. They did one of our pavilions. I believe they did the pavilion at the Nature Center, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry, you're right, Kelly. They did the pavilion by the Walnut Street Pond, and we were very pleased with their work. So, as the memo, yes, that's right, they did some interior work at the police department also. As the memo states, based on our cost, we're going to be over by about $3,000 for the new building, which we feel that we can pull out of this current year budget, fiscal year 15 budget, to cover those costs. And that's for the new building. So we'll be okay on that. So the staff recommends going with Millennium Contracting for $27,459. And monies for this project was taken out of each department. The police department, public works, water and sewer, because everybody's going to be using that to wash their vehicles. But it's specifically done to wash the vehicles, get the salt off the vehicles. We're not outside, it's not entering the storm drain system, and everybody's pleased with that. We'll have a grit separator where the grit is separated out, actually two separators. There'll be a primary and secondary, and then the clear water will leave that wash bay area, go to the sewer pumping station, and enter our sewer system. So at no time will it be flowing into the storm drain.
Okay, any other questions for Steve? The recommendation is to accept Millennium Contracting's bid at $27,459.
I make a motion that we accept Millennium Contracting's bid for $27,459.
I second it.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Alrighty. Thank you.
One final question, Steve, you will keep us posted as far as the $3,000 and where it came from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we split 5 days, so
Got it.
figure $600.
Yep.
Just want to be aware.
Yeah, we're already starting to take a hard look at each department's budget to see where we're at. So we will do that.
Okay, any comments or questions from the community? Okay. Bill? Good evening.
So, at a recent Manchester area Merchants Association meeting, which councilperson Tammy Black was there as well, there was Richard Dell, the president of the volunteer fire department, was there, and he spoke about how they are putting a new electronic sign up to replace the one that's already up there. So anyhow, the new electronic sign, apparently the new feature is that it's very easy to advertise on it. So what he wants to do is he wants to have the local businesses advertise on the new sign. But Mr. Dell told us that there is currently a code within the town that prevents this. The code basically says that you cannot advertise off of your own property, which I believe the code that Mr. Dell was referring to was Chapter 250, Section 82, which says, the following is prohibited: billboards and other off-premises signs. Now that's referring to permanent signs. He may possibly be referring to the code involves temporary signs, because the electric sign, obviously the content's changing constantly, so it may be considered temporary sign. I have no idea. But if that's the case, that would be Chapter 250, Section 83.1, I believe, which states, all temporary business signs shall be located only upon the zoning lot upon which the special, unique, or limited activity, service, product, or sale is to occur. So, from what I gathered from the meeting, and I think you would probably agree with me, it seems like the fire department's probably going to move ahead with this regardless whether the code was changed or not. Anyhow, I thought, an easy fixture to this problem without the council having to go and actually change this code and to help out the fire department and help out the local businesses is if the council was okay with it, if they were to have the town attorney write a letter to the fire department saying that the fire department would not be offending the provision of Chapter 250, Section 82, I think it was, and saying that they're okay with them advertising on the sign. So I think that'd be an easy fix to the problem without having to do anything too drastic and would make all the parties happy.
I'm sorry, tell me again, the fire company is going to be preparing a letter.
No, I was saying that that'd be a way to fix it if the town attorney would be able to say that the fire department is okay with, that they would not be offending the provision
Got it.
of that code. Yeah.
If I might interject, I was thinking that Mr. Dell was going to be presenting, I trust that he's going to be presenting his intentions to the zoning administrator and the planning and zoning committee,
Okay.
who is going to be, who oversees that particular code in terms of the administration and monitoring. Having said that, at the last planning and zoning meeting, we did look at the fire department signage. The whole part of advertising had not come up. This came up at the MAMA meeting.
Okay.
You know, so I think the recommendation maybe we should bring back to planning and zoning and talk to the zoning administrator to see, you know, what the right or proper steps would be. I understand that that provision was also updated not that long ago. So, and I believe it was just before I had joined that particular committee. You know what I mean? So,
I think it was 2011.
so I'm not sure. Well, in any case, the whole concept I know, and again, I trust that Mr. Dell is going to be presenting something more formal.
Did Mr. Dell ask you to come speak on his
No,
behalf?
no,
Well,
absolutely not.
why are you? You're not a business owner, or I'd like to know what your dog in the fight is. Why are you presenting this to us?
I go to the meetings.
I see that, but I just wondered why you would recommend. I just want to know if you were speaking on behalf of him.
No,
or-
no, I'm not speaking on behalf of him. It's something that, I mean, kind of strikes me as odd that you can't advertise on anywhere but your own property, and I think it's something that should be addressed.
And apparently, Mr. Dell was given a lot of local business had asked him, hey, we see you're getting a new sign. So I think that kind of prompted him to address it openly at the MAMA meeting, maybe prematurely.
I know that the fire department received their certificate of approval from the town, and there were stipulations on that certificate of approval. Now, normally the steps that are taken is the fire department has been given permission to put the sign up. The issue is to advertise for businesses on the sign. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, the fire department may want to appeal the decision and take it to the zoning appeals board. And those are the steps that have to be taken along the way. So that, I can't answer if the fire department is planning on doing that or not. I can't say that for certain. So,
I appreciate the update. It sounds like it's taking due course. It's going to follow the path it should, right?
yeah.
Be presented to planning and zoning.
And I agree. We have a lot of, and I have to, I'm not wearing my fire department hat right now. I'm wearing my town hat. But you have to understand that we have a lot of businesses that sit off of the main highway, which can't get good visibility because they can't erect any signs along State Highway. I can use Knobloch Insurance, I could use Abert's Automotive, I could use, a lot of these businesses that sit back, where this could be a chance for the fire department to make some money and also advertise the businesses that don't have that accessibility to the folks on, the main drag. So it's a plus, it's a win-win.
And that's exactly what Mr. Dell, was communicating at the meeting.
I agree with everything
Oh, yeah.
you said.
One thing the sign is designed is that a portion of the sign can be set up in the computer, in the laptop, where, the advertisement can be at the lower part of the sign. So you have one main big sign, and then it can be divided up into a section. It would work out real well for advertising if it, we see fit.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Okay, committee reports, Councilperson Black.
Planning and zoning, at our last meeting, we did talk about the fire department sign, and then we also did move forward on the Manchester Farm 7 project. Given that there were some community comments, and those were being worked with each individual homeowner, things are moving forward.
It was a pretty spirited meeting.
Quite.
Councilman Michelli?
Well, we just kind of got a mama update. The next meeting is March 19th at Spargo's.
Hey, Councilperson Howe?
Well, we had a meeting last night, and to reiterate, the Easter egg hunt will be Saturday, March the 28th, starting at 10 a.m., from what I understand promptly, because the kids like to just get those eggs. And then Spring Fest will be on Sunday, May the 3rd, starting at noon. And that's it.
Okay, the only thing I have for government, intergovernmental relations, the next MML meeting will be held in Tawnytown. Can I remember the date? What was the date of the MML meeting in Tawnytown?
The 19th.
Okay. I know we'll have people from Manchester will be attending that. That's all I have. Natalie, anything?
Just a couple announcements from our school. We're having a pancake breakfast this weekend from 8 in the morning to 12 noon. It's all-you-can-eat pancakes, $5 at the door. The proceeds are going to a former custodian at our school who is struggling with cancer at the moment, and it's not looking good, and we were going to pay for her and her grandsons to go and have a day at the harbor. And then another portion of the proceeds are going to a student at Winners Mill who is struggling with a brain tumor at this time. And then on Monday, the Harlem Wizards are coming, the Harlem Globetrotters?
That's it.
Yeah, Globetrotters, that's what it is, are coming to our school. Tickets are available on Ticketmaster. There's a link on the school website as well, which is carrollk12.org/MVH. Right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Patty, anything?
Nope. Just getting in contact with another person at the Carroll County Humane Society. Hoping to get in contact with them tomorrow. And we're going to move forward from there. Just seeing if there are any other options that this new person may present with us. And his name is Charles Brown. So, like I said, hopefully I'll get in contact with him tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Every year, the fire department does an annual play, and it's coming up. I believe it's Friday, March 20th, Saturday the 21st, which I can get you the information. That's a dinner theater type of thing. We do a dinner up at the fire department activities building, and then the play is at the fire hall. And then the Sunday afternoon matinee. Then the next weekend, it'll be Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon as a matinee. The title of the play is The Eager Miss Beaver. So that's kind of an annual event for the community. They seem to enjoy that. So.
Hey, anything else, anybody?
We wouldn't miss it.
I'd like to miss it.
Yeah.
You just miss your lines.
All right, if nothing else, you have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and careful of leprechauns.